Welcome to our video tutorial for our daily review question 10. Question 10 is asking us to write an expression, and we are going to have a phrase or a sentence, and we want to turn that phrase or sentence into a math sentence. This is a task that is requiring us to work really hard on learning some really important math vocabulary. And so you can see that I've included on this the graphic on the right. This is an activity that we did at the very beginning of the year, and we did some brainstorming of different words that tell us we're adding, that we're subtracting, that we're multiplying, that we're dividing, or that we need to find the answer to a problem. I'm going to remind you of a couple of things. I've asked you to hang on to this page throughout the course of this year, and it's really important that you do that because you're going to continue to come back to this page and use it as a reference throughout class while we're working on our daily review, and also while you are working throughout this year, you're going to find some words that you're going to want to add to this list and the list that we've already created. Here's an example of our list that we have. There's lots of things here. I want to remind you of a couple of important parts. First of all, remember that this list does not include every word that you're ever going to encounter that fits in these boxes. And you will probably never be able to have all of those words because there are just so many different things that represent addition or subtraction or multiplication or division. There's so many words that stand for all of those things. And so again, I would encourage you to add to this list throughout the course of the year so that you can continue to build this for yourself. However, it will probably never be completely full. Another couple of things to remind you of, we had some keywords. I put some stars next to those keywords, and those keywords, sum, difference, product, and quotient, those all tell us that we are looking for the answer of that particular type of problem. So sum would tell us we're looking for the answer of an addition problem, or quotient would tell us we're looking for the answer of a division problem. I've also highlighted several words in all of our lists, and we highlighted those words to make sure that we remember that just because we see a word in one of the lists doesn't mean that it always automatically is going to be that operation. We have to think about the context of the sentence that we're reading. A great example of that is you see the word per is in the bottom of our multiplication list, but that word per also shows up in division. So you cannot just assume because you see the word per that it's automatically multiplication. It might be multiplication, or it also might be division. So use this page that you have as a guide, but make sure that you're still thinking about the context of the questions that you are reading or the sentences that you're reading to determine what it means. Finally, in purple, I've highlighted our subtraction and our division sections, and I've just written a little note up at the top that reminds us that when we're talking about subtraction or division, the order that we write those problems out in matters. When we work with addition and multiplication, that's not necessarily the case. And we could do an example like 5 plus 3. We would know the answer to that problem is 8. Well, if I change the order to that problem to 3 plus 5, the answer is still 8. The order did not matter whether I put the 5 first or whether I put the 3 first. However, if I change that problem into a subtraction problem and I said 5 minus 3, we all know that the answer would be 2. However, if I switch the order of that and I said 3 minus 5, we're going to end up with a different answer. In fact, that answer will be negative. So that is very different than what we ended up with before. So make sure as you work through these, anytime you see a subtraction word or a division word, that you read really carefully and you pay super close attention to what those key pieces are. and see if you can make sure that you get the order correct, because if you don't get the correct order, you are going to end up with the wrong answer. Okay, now that we've talked about some of those keywords, let's go ahead and look at how we're going to translate some word sentences into some math sentences. So I'm going to switch my page so I have a little bit more space here. I still have my list of words that I'm going to use. That's a really helpful tool for us to use throughout the course of this activity and again throughout the course of this year. And let's go ahead and take a look at a word sentence, and we'll talk through the strategies for how we can turn that word sentence into a math sentence. If we had something like 8 cookies split up equally among 3 friends, the first thing I always like to do is I always like to look for those key or clue words that tell us what operations we are working with. In this case, I'm going to notice the words split and equal or equally. In this case, that word split really helps me because equal shows up in a couple of different places on my list, but split only shows up in the division. And so when we say split up equally, that's a really good clue that we are working with division. After I've found the clue operation word, I always like to look for our numbers in the problem. In this case, we have the number 8 and 3. Finally, we're just going to translate that into a math sentence, and that would look like 8 divided by 3, and that's going to give us our answer of 2 2/3, or if you ended up with a decimal of 2.6666666, we can put that line over the top to show that that repeats forever. Both of those are the correct answer here. Now, we also just described a moment ago how important order is in subtraction or division problems. So let's take a look at an example of how sometimes our word sentences can trick us up a little bit. So here is a similar but slightly different phrase. This phrase tells me that 3 friends split up 8 cookies equally between them. Well, I'm going to go through the same process and look for my clue words. I still have split up and equally, and now I look for my numbers, and I have 3 and 8. If I'm not paying attention to order in this problem, I might write something like this down, 3 divided by 8, and that I'm going to write that down because that's the order that it shows up on in this problem. However, we have to think about, what is this problem actually describing? Is it our friends that are being divided, or is it the cookies that are being divided? And in this case, we would hopefully recognize that it's the cookies that are being divided. And so the correct way to write this would actually be 8 divided by 3, exactly like what we had in the example above. So even though the numbers came in a different order in the word sentence that we were given, we have to pay really close attention to what that mathematical order actually will be. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few other examples, and these examples are going to include a little bit more of algebraic thinking, meaning that we have some things that are unknown in these expressions. So let's go ahead and take a look at a sentence or a phrase that looks something like this. The sum of a number and 8. Our process is the same. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for clue words, and I would see the word sum, which tells me I'm working with addition. And then I'm going to look for my numbers. And this one is a little bit tricky because we only actually have one given number and we have one unknown number. We have a number, we don't know what that number is, and 8. And so this is where the algebraic part comes in. We have an unknown part of this. Now, once I have my 2 numbers and my operation, I can now turn this into a math sentence, and that might look something like this, question mark plus 8. However, in 6th grade, we're not going to use a question mark. We're going to use what's called a variable, or a letter that would stand for an unknown value. So we're going to actually replace that question mark with a letter. And you could pick any letter that you wanted to pick here. X is actually the most common, so we'll do that for this example, and we would say x plus 8. Now notice that we cannot actually solve this problem like we did in the previous problem. When we had two numbers, we could find the answer, but here we don't know what x is, and so we don't have an answer to this problem. We just write a math sentence of x plus 8. Finally, just a quick check-in to remind us when we're working with problems that only have addition, we don't have to worry quite as much about the order of that problem. So if you were to write 8 plus x, both of those answers would be correct. Let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Here we have 3 less than a number. I'm going to look for my clue operation words. I see the word less than. That tells me that I'm subtracting. And I'm going to look for my numbers. Just like the last problem, I have one number 3, but I also have an unknown number. I'm going to choose this time to use the letter N to represent that number. Again, you could pick any variable or any letter that you wanted to. Last problem we picked X. This problem I'm going to choose N. There's no particular reason for that. So we have 3 and N, and we also know that we are working with subtraction. One of the things that's really important when we work with subtraction is we have to remember that order matters. So there are 2 possible ways I can write this problem down. I could write 3 minus N, or I could write N minus 3. But you have to remember that order matters, and that means that only one of those is correct. Think about that problem that we did before when we said 5 minus 3 or 3 minus 5. Those don't equal the same thing, so we have to figure out which is the correct order for this particular problem. In this case, it is telling us that we are starting with a number and we have 3 less than that number. That would tell me that the example on the right is correct, N minus 3. So even though the 3 came first in the word sentence, we have to pay really close attention and think about where should that 3 be in this problem. The 3 was less than the N, so we start with N and we subtract 3. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have the product of 45 and M. In this case, we're given a variable, so I don't get to pick any letter that I want. I'm going to use that variable that's given to me, but our process is the same. I'm going to look for keywords. Product tells me I'm multiplying, and I see 45 and M. Nice thing about this is we know that our order doesn't matter when we are only multiplying, so I can go ahead and write down 45 times M, and I'm done. Now, I want to take a quick minute to note a couple of things. Imagine for a second that instead of M, that was X. So we would have 45 times X. And if you imagine how we might write that down, you could see that actually gets pretty confusing because it would kind of look like 45xx or 45 times, and that gets a little bit confusing. So in our multiplication words, we also have a new symbol for multiplication that we're going to start to see throughout the course of this year. And we're going to use a dot in the middle to represent multiplication. And that helps us when we start to work with these variables. You can start using that form now, or you don't have to, but I just wanted to explain that to you there. And finally, we said that order didn't matter. So we could have also written M times 45. So all 3 of those examples would be correct for this. Let's do one final example, and I think that should give you lots of practice and give you some tips about what to do on your own here. We have this time a number divided by 2. Our process is the same. I'm going to look for clue words. I see divided. That's an easy one. I know that that's division. And I see a number. I'm going to choose A for that number this time. And I saw 2. So I have those numbers and I have my clue word for my operation, and now I just need to determine which order is correct. Is this going to be a divided by 2, or is this going to be 2 divided by a? Well, this one is telling me the number is being split up or divided into 2 groups. So my first example was correct. Hopefully that gives you a sense of how to work on these problems, and also how tricky finding the correct order for those subtraction and division problems might be. So please make sure that you take extra time when you're working on any subtraction or division problem that might trip you up just a little bit.